Okay, so we have had an opportunity to hear from the Board of Health. Some of the public has asked if we're following Robert's Rules of Order. We were just having an opening conversation about the pros and cons. Julie, did you want to take the floor?
Yes, thank you. So I just wanted to set off our first motion. So I move to authorize and direct the Executive Director of Tri-County Health Department in response to the COVID-19 pandemic and to support and limit interruptions to critical in-person learning to issue a public order requiring the use of face coverings for all individuals in all indoor school and childcare settings located within Adams, Arapahoe, and Douglas counties for both per Board of Health policy. Counties have the option to opt out, and if a county exercises that right, it does not preclude any school district, or child care facility from following this public health order.
Great, thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. And now we'll open up for conversation about this motion that's on the floor. Rane, this is a little late. Can we actually post the language as a screen share?
Jennifer's actually going to share. I don't have the language.
Okay, so actually, Jennifer, it's really just the first motion, and just because there was a lot in that motion, it would cover. Let's just read it in person. All individuals in all indoor schools and childcare settings. And then the second sentence says, the Tri-County Board of Health has issued an opt-out order for any public health orders that are county-wide. And so the second sentence of this motion says, per Board of Health policy, counties have the option to opt out. And if a county exercises that right, it does not preclude any school district, or child care facility from following this public health order. So we're leaving it up to the discretion of the school and the school board to make the decision on their own in the event that a county has chosen to opt out. Just wanted to clarify that language. And now I'll open up the floor for discussion before we actually vote on this particular motion. Jan, you have your hand raised.
Yes, I was curious in the wording there. Of course, it covers the teachers because you say, and the staff, you say for all individuals in all indoor school and childcare setting. But when you talk about childcare settings, preschool, daycare, are we not interested in unmasking those under 2? It's a little hard. This seems to me to cover infants up to 2.
Jennifer, did you have an answer for that?
The CDC recommendation is 2 and above, so we would not do this for infants or under 2. So we could amend this to specify that we mean all schools, like it could be preschool or kindergarten through 12.
Okay, thank you. That's what I was wondering.
I'd just like to clarify that right now the Board of Health is just making a motion to approve a mandate for a mask mandate for school-age children, but the details of how the public health order will be implemented will be in the order that the Tri-County staff will be creating after and if the approves this motion. So are there any other questions or comments about this language, about this particular motion before we move to a vote? Okay, I'm not seeing any other questions or comments. Oh, Jan, did you have your hand raised again?
Yeah, I'm just not sure if it's mentioning 2 and above in other motions. I'm not sure why it wouldn't be in this one.
So, Julie, would you accept an amendment that clarifies that this would not apply to children under 2?
Yes, I accept that amendment.
Okay, great. I'm looking to make sure there aren't any questions or comments. And at this point, I will call for a roll call vote. Please, after your name is stated, indicate whether you approve or you disapprove of this motion. Ronnie, could you help us with the roll call vote?
Yes. Let's see. From Adams County, Rosanna Reyes. Please.
I vote yes. I vote yes for the motion.
Julie Schills.
I vote yes for the motion.
Julie Mollica.
Yes.
Sorry, I'm also recording the votes as we go. From Arapahoe County, Jan Grainer.
Vote yes for the motion.
Dr. Thomas Faywell.
Disapprove.
Dr. Kaya Gallagher.
No.
Dr. Linda Fielding from Douglas County.
No.
Kim Muramoto from Douglas County.
No.
And Zach Nanestead from Douglas County.
I abstain.
Okay, it looks like.
Hold on, Zach, I need you to state the reason for your abstaining.
I am employed by one of the districts that would be affected by this vote.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. It looks like the motion did not pass. Yesterday, the Board of Health considered a second option. Dr. Faywell, did you want to introduce the second option?
Yes, move that to authorize and direct the Executive Director of Tri-County Health Department in response to the COVID-19 pandemic and in the absence of an approved vaccine for children under the age of 12 years to issue public health order requiring the use of face coverings for all children aged 2 years to 11 years, as well as all individuals working or interacting with children aged 2 to 11 years in all indoor school and child care settings located within Adams, Arapahoe, Douglas counties. I would like to add said public health order to become effective the start of school on August 23rd, period. Health data collection to be continuously monitored until this public health order is rescinded based on the ongoing data. Per Board of Health policy, counties have the option to opt out, and if a county exercises that right, it does not preclude any school, school district, or child care facility from following the public health order.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Gallagher.
Yes. Is there a second?
Rosanna, you were muted. You're muted, Rosanna.
Yes, Dr. Gallagher, I move to postpone consideration of this motion until we get further clarification regarding the denominator for the Mr. Nanestead, who chose at this time to abstain.
Well, Rosanna, there's a motion on the floor that we have
Yes, that's why I chose, I'm asking, I had my hand up prior to that. I asked to postpone for 10 minutes till we can get a clarification regarding the denominator. Robert's Rule of Order clarification.
Okay. Let me try to understand this. So you would like to take a 10-minute break and ask a question about the denominator on the abstention of the previous motion?
Yes, about the denominator. Mr. Nanestead's abstention of being considered in the denominator. And that would relate to the majority or not of the motion passed. So we need a order definition.
Well, let me just go back and ask Rene to confirm. But as far as I knew, there were 4 in favor of the previous motion and 4 against, which means that we did not approve the previous motion.
Well, in fact, is not Ms. Malika our parliamentarian as opposed to Ms. Rockman for the board?
Julie,
So-
did you?
Okay.
So unfortunately, a motion's on the table, so we need to respond to that motion first.
Okay, but I did have my hand up prior to Dr. Faywell getting our motion, their second, and it has not been seconded that I heard.
Mhm.
So that's why I wanted to
Well-
postpone and get an interpretation about the denominator. Robert's Rule of Order interpretation.
I'm sorry I didn't see your hand up, Rosanna. I just can't scan everybody's.
I know it's difficult, right?
But I am going to second Dr. Faywell's motion at this point, so that there's a motion on the floor that we can vote on, and then we can go back to your question about the previous motion. I'm postponing the discussion about the denominator until we move forward on the vote that's on the floor right now that has been proposed and second.
After my question. I just want that to be in the record that it was after my question.
Yes.
You chose
right.
to nominate. You chose to second. And actually, I think, isn't that also supposed to be a Board of Health person? Not the president, but doing a second.
I have the ability to second a motion. So, Rene, could you please call the roll call on this motion that's on the floor? And then we will go back and explore the denominator question for the previous motion.
Yes, Julie Mollica with Adams County,
Yes.
Rosanna Reyes with Adams County,
Could you reread the motion, please?
The motion is on the screen. Did you want Dr. Faywell to read it again?
Well, I didn't get to hear the whole thing because I had my hand up. I was trying to maneuver that. So no, I can read it, but it's going to take me a moment.
Okay.
So come back around to me.
Okay.
Because Adams is always first somehow.
Okay.
well, we do go alphabetically, just for the record. If you would prefer that I mix it up a little, I can get wild like that.
No, that's fine. I just needed time to read it.
Okay, Julie.
There was additional verbiage added. So to be fair, I need time to read this. I'm not asking Tom to reread it.
Perfect. I will come back to you at the end, Ms. Reyes. Julie Schills,
Yes.
Jan Brainerd with Arapahoe County,
Yes.
Dr. Thomas Faywell with Arapahoe County,
Yes.
Dr. Kaya Gallagher with Arapahoe County,
Yes.
Dr. Linda Fielding with Douglas County,
No.
Kim Muramoto with Douglas County,
No.
and Zach Nanestad with Douglas County.
I abstain for the aforementioned reason.
And Rosanna Reyes with Adams County.
Yes, I have a question. What is the total? Voting total to this point?
5, 4, and 2 against.
4, 5, yes.
4 no's, 5s, and 2s against. As much as I believe that children over the age of 12 also need to be wearing masks, I stand with the American Academy of Pediatrics in Colorado. In Colorado, as well as pediatric pulmonologists that I know and believe, I will vote for this reluctantly.
Thank you, Ms. Reyes.
Okay, so getting back to Robert's Rules of Order, Julie Mullica, our parliamentarian, we now have a motion that has passed that is on the screen right now. And Rosanna had a question about the previous motion, the denominator, And Rosanna, if I understand correctly, your question really was, what's the denominator? Because it was a 4-4 vote, 4 against, 4 in favor, 4 against.
Yes, and Mr. Vanistad had informed us that he was going to abstain. The denominator would be, that's what I wanted a official Robert's Rule of Order.
I think I affirm. So I think moving forward, since the motion has passed, but I still think, Rosanna, that you have, it's an important question for the public to know and understand the reasoning behind that and how Zach abstaining, how does that affect the vote? Is Sid or Randy, is there somebody who could speak to that?
Yeah, I would just say that there's been 2 motions that have been presented. One did not have sufficient votes to pass, so did not have a majority, so it failed. The second motion had, I think, a 6-2 vote, so it passed. Any specific questions you want to ask?
Yes, I needed to know what the ruling, where it was in Robert's Rule of Order. When we knew someone has not had chosen to abstain and stayed in advance, that individual will still be considering the denominator.
There weren't sufficient votes.
Yes.
There weren't sufficient votes in the first motion to pass, and so it failed.
Yes, but we also had a question from the public, are we following Robert's Rule of Order? So in keeping with that, I wanted to know where it was in Robert's Rule of Order that when someone notifies you they're not voting or abstaining, does that affect the denominator?
Well, it seems like it would affect the denominator for sure, but you would still need a majority for a motion to pass. If we have an even number and it's split 4-4, that doesn't indicate that the motion was approved.
No, but in instances, other small boards such as we are would go for another round of voting. That's why I wanted some clarification, because hopefully this will be a separate situation again, but in case it is, we needed to have something official in the record.
Okay, so are you asking for us to take a second vote on the first motion that already failed?
No, I'm asking you for the rationale and the site in Robert's Rule of Order for small boards. Where is that? That's what I'm asking, because it was a question also from the public. I'm not asking for a second vote at this point.
Rosanna, I guess I have to say that I'm not entirely certain what it is that you are looking for. At this point, for the first motion, we have 4 in favor, we have 4 against, and we have Zach Nanestad who abstained due to a conflict of interest. And that's my understanding that that is a perfectly fine reason for abstaining. So I guess
yes, that's not a question at all. That's not my question at all. That's not my question.
Okay, I mean, the other thing is in the Board of Health bylaws, it clearly states that in order for a motion to pass, it has to receive votes when a quorum of the board is present, and it has to be a majority vote in order for that motion to pass.
Yes, and in our rules as well, our bylaws, we also refer to Robert's Rule of Order revised, I believe. So that's why I wanted to know the site. A member of the public asked the question, are we following it? So I wanted to know where that is in Robert's Rule of Order.
Rosanna, I understand.
We can table that for another to be researched and for another meeting.
Yes, I think that's a good suggestion. I understand the question that you're raising, but no one seems to have an answer right now. It does seem to be an issue we need to research. But
I move we lay the question, lay it over.
We already have a motion.
Okay, so here is where I believe we are. We have a motion that the board approved regarding mask mandates in schools. It was passed by 6 votes in favor and 2 against, with 1 abstention. My understanding is that the next step is that the Tri-County Health Department staff will actually work through the details of that public health order. Within a matter of days, the order will be posted on the Tri-County website. It will also be shared with our school districts as well as local government officials. We appreciate the members of the public who have shared their opinions with us, and please recognize that we will continue to monitor the spread of COVID within our schools and consider modifying our order accordingly, which is actually part of the language that Dr. Faywell inserted into this motion. Are there any final comments before we end this meeting? Not seeing any. Thank you all for your very hard work, diligent attention to this issue. We're all concerned about making sure that we make the best science-based decision, and this is a conversation that I'm sure will continue. In particular, Rosanna, we will pay attention to the Robert's Rules of Order and just know what it was that we needed to do relative to the denominator question. So at this point, do I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Thank you very much. Have a great evening, and we will continue our conversation.
Kaya, one question. Who seconded that motion to adjourn?
I think it was
Zach.
Zach did.
Okay,
Zach.
thank you so much. I just wanted to make sure that it was accurately reflected in the minute.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.